As I was taking a walk in the park the other day, I decided to sit on a bench next to a basketball court. And on this basketball court, a pickup game was taking place. With about 5 men on each side, each player's duties differed based on their skill level, athletic ability, and physical build. But I wasn't quite able to make out the positioning of each player at first glance. As I took some time to watch the game unfold, I could see something that each player possessed, which was each uniquely their own. And that was where their attention was going on the court. The point guards were focusing on which of their players were open and how they could situate themselves to make the perfect pass. The shooting guards hovered around the three-point line and tried maneuvering around other players so they could quickly take a pass and shoot. And the center remained close to the hoop, waiting for a rebound on either end of the court so they could keep or take back possession. When every player was assigned their role before the game had started, the court transformed to reflect that change. Nothing about the appearance of the actual setting of this game had changed, but what did change was the intention that was created by their specified position. And with this observation, I had unlocked a concept that I've been practicing ever since I started improving myself, but never had the words to describe it properly. Until now. Recently, I've been feeling a bit of a metamorphosis within myself. What was once serving me and fueling my progress as a human is now telling me to evolve to fit this new state of optimal living. To tell you the truth, I haven't really been lifting weights at all. My workouts for the past few months have consisted mostly of bodyweight exercises or just utilizing the few accessories that are available in my apartment gym. And part of that is due to the fact that I've been dealing with some knee pain and now elbow pain for the past couple years, but also I just want to be more functional and athletic now. In other words, I love the idea of finally changing my fitness intentions to be more aligned with what I want out of life. Starting around mid-March, I initiated this change by switching up what I told myself about who I was. You see, every night I say 5 affirmations to myself, and I've been doing this for about 4 years now. Even though I'm still kind of skeptical to its efficacy, I just do this purely out of habit, and I got nothing to lose by doing it anyway. Now, what I've been telling myself for the past couple years right before bed is, I am the strongest and most muscular I've ever been. But due to these changes I wanted to employ, I wanted to switch this affirmation to, I am the most functional and athletic I've ever been. So around a couple months ago, I decided to do this, and I went to bed that night optimistic for what the future of my fitness journey held. The next week, it felt as though the reality I have always occupied replaced its typical lens. There was a YouTube video which had popped up on my feed about proper running form, and my instant reaction was to click on it and take in its teachings. The next thing I knew, I was running around my apartment complex, up and down the hills, until I eventually made it back to my living area. And when I got back from that first run, I had realized something about that video. That video was something that has shown up on my feed countless times now. It was a video that my eyes had perceived an innumerable amount of times and that I had taken into my subconscious, but it never even crossed my mind to be interested enough to actually want to click on it. And that's when this idea of just how powerful shifting your intentions can be started to make sense to me, but I really didn't know how to put this into words for this video until I had watched that basketball game. But you know, it's something that I think every guy should start to shift their focus towards more, actually taking care of their skin properly, and that is why I would like to talk to you guys about Tiege Hanley. I don't know what it is about us guys, but just like that running video, which I was never focused on or paid attention to, we are not naturally wired to care about or take care of our skin and really understand the importance of it. Tiege Hanley provides you with all the products you need if you want to easily wash or moisturize your face without a ton of different steps. I recommend starting with their level 1 system, which comes with a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and a PM moisturizer. I'm using their face wash almost every day, and the AM moisturizer, that one is always going on every day before I go outside. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, having a face moisturizer with SPF 20 in it is so crucial to not prematurely aging from the sun, and unless your intention is to look like you're 60 when you're 35 and you want to increase your risk of skin cancer, then I suggest you take care of this. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews, and as a Tiege Hanley member, you get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, access to exclusive monthly deals, and free US shipping. Because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering you guys a great deal. Just click the first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. So don't miss out on this deal. Click that link and get started today. So this intention shifting paradigm is what I like to call creating your own algorithm, and I'll tell you why I decided to give it this name. I want you to imagine for a second what any social media feed looks like when you first join it or when you visit the site without having logged in. The site itself essentially decides what you're going to watch for you by giving you the most popular videos or pieces of content that most people are engaging with. In the same way, your mind produces a similar sort of result when creating your entire reality when you're first born. You have that pre-existing hardware that we call our body or brain that pushes us to engage with certain things and act in a certain way, just like that social media algorithm that has no user logged into it. Then, over time, the algorithm starts to take on a more concrete form. Based on what you decide to search for or click on, the algorithms on these websites start to show you more of this type of content. Again, in the same way, this is how our reality algorithm starts to form itself outside of social media. We might try a few things that interest us, but we won't really know why they interest us, and then our reality starts to reflect the beliefs created by that content we engage with. But for most of us, it is not even ourselves that are creating our beliefs and intentions. It is usually an entity outside of us, which we could call an algorithm of sorts, that tells us who we are, who we should be, and what we should be focused on. Okay, now back to the online realm again. Eventually, as you continue to consume more content on social media, you'll have an online world that is in accordance with the majority of the content you've already consumed. And even when you digest content that isn't related to the majority of your algorithm, the majority of the content you've been engaging with up until that point will be subconsciously influencing the way you perceive any sort of content you engage with in the future. If this sounds kind of confusing, I'll give you a great example of this. In my video, The Masculinity Crisis, I purposefully made a thumbnail that would appeal to more right-leaning conservative individuals so that they would be the ones to click on the video. Now, whether I agree or disagree with what people on the right say doesn't matter. What does matter is that I knew that these types of people consume a lot of content that likes to bash anyone for saying the word toxic masculinity and labels anyone that uses that term as a soft liberal pussy who believes it's okay to be weak and emotional. So I decided to purposefully add the word toxic at one point in this video. But as with any masculinity message, I think the whole idea behind being stronger can be misconstrued and also just be toxic. I wasn't even trying to say that masculinity was toxic, because obviously it's not, but because they automatically associate that word toxic with a weak liberal idiot, they decided to either not watch the video after that or just discredit the entirety of the video. In other words, their previous algorithm or knowledge of the word completely altered their perception of the message of that video, and they were unable to see the true interpretation I was trying to portray because of it. Alright, now one last comparison to the real world again. In the same way, whatever beliefs and intentions that you have subconsciously or consciously created in the real world, aka your reality algorithm, will completely dictate what you decide to perceive, focus on, and listen to. And in this way, it really is true that people only see what they are capable of choosing to see. This is why I told you the story of those basketball players and of me getting into more athletic, functional activities. The basketball players intentionally changed their reality algorithm by assigning a role to themselves, and their reality, or rather the court, started to reflect what they typically associate with that role. And I adopted the reality of one who was trying to be more athletic instead of more muscular, and I started to see the things that were in accordance with helping me become that. As soon as you start to shift your intention, or in other words, assign yourself a new role and create a different algorithm, that algorithm starts to automatically show you things in your environment that will push you towards that intention. You most likely have access to everything you need to become the person you want to be right now, but your reality algorithm is not aligned with what it needs to be in order for you to start noticing the right things that will push you towards that person that you want to become. So the question remains, how do you start to create your own reality algorithm and start to align it with the things that you want to get out of life? Well, the first thing you need to do is assess your current algorithm and see how it is controlling your perception and what you choose to focus on. And to be honest, social media might not be a bad place to start to show you what your tendencies look like in real life. Social media acts as a mirror, exposing you to the parts of yourself you may have almost no control over, but do nevertheless make you who you are. Evaluate what your algorithms look like on these apps, and you'll eventually get at least a decent idea of what some of your beliefs look like. Then do the same with what you gravitate towards in real life. What type of people do you choose to engage with? What type of thoughts do you primarily give attention to? And what activities do you feel more inclined to participate in? Even what you choose to pay attention to in your house or apartment can give insight into your current algorithm. Now keep a list of all of these things and label them with their appropriate names, like the example you see on screen right now. You now know a general idea of what your current algorithm looks like. The next step requires some research. I want you to think of the people who seem to effortlessly get what you want to get out of your reality, or who are at an expert level in that thing. Study and get an idea of what their algorithm looks like in a similar way that you studied your current algorithm. It may not be entirely accurate, as studying your own algorithm is clearly much easier than studying someone else's because you can't really peek into their mind or their daily activities, but a general idea is good enough. And then compare this with everything you wrote down about your reality. Now you need to ask yourself, is what I am doing, focusing on and giving attention to, in accordance with the person who is most closely related to who I am trying to become? And if the answer is no, you need to start the process of changing that specific part of your reality algorithm. The goal with this exercise is to start to uncover all of these unintentional aspects of yourself that may not be apparent on the surface that are leading to the molding of your algorithm, and to start to be more intentional with just about everything in your reality. And now that you've done this, you can start to shift your intentions towards the things that you should be focusing on to get the things that you want out of life. So here's a little exercise to help you with that. Start to shift your awareness to the present moment. Focus on the inward and outward of your breath, whatever you're smelling right now, hearing, and where your body is making contact with the ground. Realize that you are a conscious, living being that is fully extended in the infinity of the present moment. And once you are more present-minded, start to visualize that reality that you want to occupy. Think of the person you would be in that reality and assign yourself to the role of that person. How would you react to positive or negative news? What would you participate in on a daily basis? What type of content would you consume? And what type of people would you interact with? Visualize this and truly convince yourself that you are this person by aligning your reality algorithm with the algorithm of that person. Tell yourself every day that you already have all these characteristics of the person that occupies that reality, and consistently evaluate whether your thoughts, actions, and focus are in alignment with that. And the more that you practice this, the more that your mind will start to open yourself up to the opportunities that are there right out in front of you that you never took advantage of because you didn't have the algorithm with which to see them. But by saying this, it does not mean it should be a very forceful act. Yes, it will certainly be difficult to act like the person you want to be, but you must under no circumstances tell yourself you wish you were this person already. Because you do not become what you want. You become what you already are. Thank you very much to my patrons on Patreon who are helping to support my channel. If you don't know what this is, it's a platform separate from YouTube where I put out exclusive content. You want to check that out, link in the description. And if part of that algorithm you're trying to create is to effortlessly improve yourself, then check out this whole playlist of self-improvement videos that I've made. And now I'm heading out. Thanks for watching till the end. Peace.